You are listening to an MLGA Network podcast. We did it. We made it through an entire new year. We created a network. We created 5 original shows. And all I want to know at the end of this year is, what is your New Year's resolution?
Well, the description of Technoagorist still says it's a daily show. So how about my New Year's resolution is to actually make it a mostly daily show again. We'll see how that works.
Instead of a bi-monthly show?
Sure.
Whenever it happens show.
How about you, Kim?
Well, I've decided I'm going to go for the resolution of never having a period again. And so, in extreme measures, I have decided to get that thing removed. It's fantastic.
So stunning and brave.
Yes, that's a stunning and brave thing, is to have your uterus removed. I highly suggest it, Ryan and Cam.
I can't wait to have mine removed. How about you, Maddie? You have anything you want to do this year?
I was going to say, I've been so inspired by Kim's brave and stunning act of entire utero removal that I'm going to dedicate 2020 to being more fluid in my gender. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what it means either, but I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
It's not happening. I'm a quitter.
Very progressive.
I don't have any resolutions. I'm already perfect. Welcome to Make Liberty Great Again, the best damn Liberty podcast that you've never heard of. I'll be your guide as we peer into the ridiculous reality that is our society and our government. Let's get to it. Welcome to Make Liberty Great Again. I'm Cam Harless, and with me today are so many good people. I've got Maddie from the Voluntary Vixens. I've got Kim Shang from Lesbertarian, and I brought along Ryan as well.
Hello.
I mean, he deserves to be here.
Glad to be here.
Today, I thought we would do some sort of 2019 retrospective. We would talk about how 2019 went, what we've done, maybe throw in some of our favorite news stories, maybe talk about what we're going to do in the coming year. Does that sound good to you guys?
Fascinating.
Sure do.
I'm in.
All right. First, I'd like to just kind of talk about 2019 in general, because since 2016, the news has been more exciting and more depressing than it's ever been in my lifetime. It's also been funnier because we have a president that trolls. So I thought maybe you guys have a favorite Trump moment from this year.
It's really all been entertaining. I've enjoyed a number of his tweets towards Nancy Pelosi, even before even before this impeachment mayhem. There were some really good ones. I'm not remembering them at all, but man, I was howling, laughing at them, wondering if I was really living in this world or not.
I think one of my favorite recent moments with Pelosi was when he tweeted that she said something slowly because she had to make sure her dentures were in correctly.
Oh man, yeah, that's gold. That old dementor.
We don't deserve him.
Yeah, no. He's the president Twitter that we don't deserve.
Anything that stuck out to you, Ryan?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, at one point what was the meme he recently shared? One of the ones with him on it? That they were
with
all...
the Stallone body?
Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, what I love about the Stallone, the Rocky, him putting his head on, or someone else putting his head on...
Right, that's been shared over and over again, but he actually shared it on his own Twitter, which was funny.
Right, and everyone else who shared it for the duration of its existence has said, oh, look, it's a meme. But as soon as Trump shares it, it's a doctored photo.
Yeah.
Deepfake, right?
If you want to talk about my favorites are any time he shared something obviously silly that everybody took seriously and either called fake news or doctored photos or this or that. Those moments were funny. I can't think of any necessarily off the top of my head.
I've got
other
one.
Than that. What?
Oh, yeah.
Because Ryan was already on the track that I was on. My favorite is still, I think it was Daily Wire who put out the doctored photo of Trump putting the medal on a dog or whatever. And they tweeted Trump tweeted that one out, and the left just lost their damn mind. I was just like, this is obviously fake and doctored, but no, that junk was real funny to me.
We live in the best timeline at this point. I never assumed that we would get to a point where the pretension and the fake nice guy, there to stick up for the world, blah, 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 I never thought that would end and we would have someone who literally rails at his enemies, his political enemies, and calls them enemies, and then makes fun of them for their age.
It's good.
It's beautiful. He's completely delegitimized the system, and it's fantastic. Partially because when someone's pretending to be the good guy and wearing a suit and playing the game, you trust him with the nuclear codes. But when he doesn't act like that, people who would not have questioned it previously are now like, are we sure we want war with these people? Because are we sure Trump's not being crazy?
I was just thinking, you could tell that Cam is very far away from the conservative he used to be because he actually pronounced nuclear with 2 syllables. And I feel like anybody who's Republican is too busy saying nuclear every dang time. Drives me insane. But it is really funny that you point. I don't really want a president. I'm pretty sure we can all agree we don't really want an overlord. But the fact is,
to hell with that.
I kind of look forward to him being reelected because I'm pretty sure he will after all this impeachment fiasco crap. Because that's 4 more years of tweets and 4 more years of me watching liberals just implode, and it's really funny.
Can we briefly talk about the fact that the Democrats with this impeachment have blown their wad early, and they just gave 2020 to Donald Trump?
Yeah, quite the premature ejaculation, really. I mean, I'm enjoying it for once. For once, it's very enjoyable, right? We get to sit back and watch them really, like, all their cards seem to be on the table, and they've shown it to be a losing hand. And as we're speaking, I don't think old crazy Nancy sent the filings over to the Senate to get those things going, right? Like, we're still waiting on that. I don't know. You know,
do you think they're ever going to get over there? I mean, last I heard, they were demanding the Senate have like the whole trial and everything lined up, scheduled, and all the witnesses lined up, all this, like, do the entire work to prepare for this trial that obviously isn't going to happen. And they said, as soon as you have all that done, then we'll send the paperwork over, to which the Senate's chuckled to themselves. I mean, if they don't ever turn it in, come on. Technically, it doesn't even count, right?
It's Schrodinger's impeachment.
The best part about it, though, I'm just going to have to talk about the fact that even the libertarians, well, I'm not surprised a bunch of libertarians are a bunch of morons, but how everybody's like, woo, he's effectively impeached, like he was just about to be, like they were just going to take a boot and boot him right out of the White House. And I was like, guys, House, Senate, guys. And then, libertarians tried to recover from that by making up some stupid excuses or whatever. I'm like, you guys did know that the article of impeachment still had embarrassment.
It's the second impeachment of our lifetime, and yet people still don't get that.
Not to mention, like, there have been so many things that have cropped up, especially on the left, about how, first off, they did think that he was going to be out of the White House the next day, and then changed their tune really quickly and started acting like they were constitutional scholars.
That's richest.
But it was like, there were some libertarians that were like, oh man, I can't wait for this to happen. I can't wait to see who he brings down. And I'm like, do you actually think that, one, this is going to happen, that it's going to actually be a real trial, and 2, that anything's going to come of it, if it even was a real trial? I can't believe I, of all people who have repeatedly said that I don't give a shit about the impeachment, had to explain to people how impeachment works.
It's funny how that works.
So embarrassing.
My favorite, though, is how people are making up all these false stats where they're like, oh, well, Trump is the third president that's been impeached. He and Nixon wasn't actually impeached. Oh, him and, who is it, Andrew Johnson? Yeah, you're getting on the right track. And then, but it's like, they're like, he's the first one that was impeached in his first term. Also not true. Let's keep going, though. You're going to get one. You're going to get one. I just know it. Just keep going. Keep making stuff up.
Yeah, they're excited about it. They're very excited about the nothing burger. That seems to be the trend of 2019.
Yeah, Joe pointed out, made a good point. He said, well, it's all optics. now they can call him the impeached president. They knew he was not going to get kicked out of office. They knew it was just, and it doesn't matter whether they turn it into turn the paperwork into the Senate or not, because ultimately the optics are there. They can already call him the impeached president, the, what's the word, dishonored president, the whatever, the joke in chief. And of course they'll talk about that in the debates.
But even so, with the optics, like they attempted to humiliate him, and he will always be the impeached President Trump, or he's dishonored. Have they ever listened to the man once in their life? There is no way to humiliate or dishonor Donald Trump.
Right.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, no. He
Thank
seems
you.
to always come out on top, too.
Well, and his supporters in particular. The whole deal was he was not part of the swamp. He was the renegade. He was the guy who went off and did his own thing. Well, guess what? They just gave him his anti-establishment cred right back on a silver platter. It's like, oh, right, the election's coming up, and now you seem like every other politician. Well, here, we'll show that the establishment's against you. So, come on. Seriously feels like they were trying to help him.
Can't dishonor a person who has no honor. It makes no sense. He never had honor.
Right.
He never cared.
Yeah, he never cared about honor. He did what he wanted to do. I mean, he is who he is, and there is nothing you could say to him that's going to slow him down and make him think he's any less Trump than he is.
Mm-hmm.
But let me ask you, this coming year, like the fireworks, they're just being prepped now because we are going into an election year. So all of the fun stuff I've been able to talk about, and some other people have talked about, we've talked about in the groups. Thank God Kamala Harris is no longer in the running, but he's going to have to go up against someone in November. So I'm curious, Kim, what is your prediction? You used to be a leftist. So of all the leftists on those stages, who do you think actually ends up going against Donald Trump?
At this point, it looks closer to either being Buttigieg or, oh God, and I'm hoping they don't try the Biden thing. I want him to go away, but he's still the person with like the most street cred, as you call it, the most street cred that's useless because he really didn't do much. But I feel like it's between him, Biden, and Buttigieg. I'm sorry.
So the Indian lady isn't big anymore?
She's in like third,
Who's the Indian lady?
I think.
Oh, that Indian lady.
Pocahontas.
Our favorite Indian.
Oh, Pocahontas, yeah.
Yes. I actually
Forget
forget her
her.
name at the moment.
She needs to spend more
she
time
was
figuring out the
everyone
money
said
for her
she was
plan.
the front runner. When did the Mayor Pete become a front runner?
I think she buried herself.
I think Mayor Pete's at like fourth, isn't he?
Yeah, at this point, I think he's down there. I just think at some point, they're going to just be like, we're going to have to choose a guy that has a little more intersectionality, and that's going to be Buttigieg. And you got this
Right.
white woman who thinks she's Native American, who can't really tell you how she's going to pay for her plans, and people, even on the Democratic side, are getting tired of that part. So, I mean, I see their better choices going with somebody that has a little more of their liberal flair and being gay.
A gay white
And he's
man.
presentable.
That's assuming that they're doing what's best for their, chances. But Democrats, just like the Republicans, often don't. They don't choose people based on who's best or most electable. They're all going to lose.
Yeah, of course.
We're going to enjoy it.
But my prediction has kind of remained in the same place, which is I think eventually it's going to end up being Elizabeth Warren. But a lot of that has to do with how the media portrays her, especially in the last debate that I watched, because they front loaded the first 15 minutes of the Democratic debate with mostly questions to her, which means they knew people were going to drop off after the first boring 15 to 30 minutes of the show, and they wanted her points up front. So I think that of course they're backing Biden and they're going to make every excuse for him along the way, but I think that eventually I think Joe Biden is going to go so senile at some point that they can't do anything about
They're
it.
going to have to drag him off the stage.
Can they do it any further than he's gone now? I mean,
Oh, he can go worse.
Come on.
I'm really hoping it goes worse.
Yeah. let's just
Like,
let
it's
him.
amazing.
can you get worse than those bizarre pool comments?
The weirdest
I
thing
mean, that
I've
was
ever
one of the
heard.
weirdest things I've ever heard. It's just so off the wall.
And the hairs in the
Oh.
pool and the kids playing with my hairs and my legs. Like, what?
And the cockroaches.
Yeah, what? I don't-
What was
What?
What is?
yeah.
Is he calling the kids cockroaches? Like, what
Yeah.
the heck does he? It's just so the whole thing made no sense.
But it's like, yes, keep going. I want to hear more of the Crazy Joe.
Please, please.
Please.
I want to see Crazy Joe versus Crazy Trump. That would be fantastic.
Well, Trump is so freaking sharp, man. He would work that
Oh, yeah.
so good. It would be so funny
it
to
would be so
watch.
good.
Not to mention that Joe Biden's son Hunter, in recent news, has one, impregnated his dead brother's wife.
It's good.
Two, had a rental car, and when he got out of the rental car, he left his crack pipe in the rental car. And so Joe's son is a crackhead. I mean, you couldn't write a better script for Trump. So I feel like the senility is going to become too much, and there may be a sea change, which Elizabeth Warren takes over, but I want more than anything for it to go so far with Joe Biden before he literally has to say, you know what, I can't do this. And then Hillary Clinton swoops in.
I got you,
and
Joe.
goes against Trump again.
I got this.
I want that so bad.
Me and my pantsuit. And my body double.
How do you know that, between like a rich crackhead and a poor crackhead, no poor crackhead is going to forget their crack pipe in they might not even have a rental.
Right.
How in the heck? That's not something I'd forget. Not that I do crack. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Would not forget
I
that.
mean,
Well, and
logical reasoning.
not that long ago, Joe Biden actually called marijuana a gateway drug. Like, he's still clinging on to that rhetoric.
Oh, man.
He's
It's
the
like-
only one running, right, who's still using that rhetoric.
Right.
Because he's ancient.
That was surprising that he would really go there.
While his son is smoking crack.
And like
So, I mean...
banging chicks.
That dude didn't even gateway. He just
Banging
went
his-
straight out of the womb to crack, apparently.
It was like, so one of the funny things that came up on Twitter the other day was Joe Biden put out a family picture for Christmas, and his son Hunter wasn't in the picture.
man.
So it was trending, "Where's Hunter?" on Twitter.
Black Sheep Biden.
Hunting for Hunter.
And my joke, of course, was he's playing in the snow with his new baby. Because cocaine.
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
Ah.
Chuckle, chuckle, chuckle.
Oh, man.
Oh boy. Yeah, we did a lot this year because we didn't have a network at the beginning of the year.
I mean, we had the network site.
Right. But we didn't have original content. We didn't have the
We made the network site. It was
insofar as that.
Thanksgiving weekend 2018, which was just where we grabbed, hey, these are our favorite shows. Let's put them all together so you can just like go to a website and just listen through. You know, you're sitting at work and you need something to listen through. Just come over, click into something. It'll just autoplay through really, really good shows like Tom Woods and whatever. But then we started the original content this year, which was always our goal.
Oh yeah, it was one of those things where the longer that the network played like that, and we didn't have the show it was named after available. I was like, no, this doesn't work. So in February I restarted the show with Phil, who I miss.
Miss you,
Damn it, Phil.
Wait, who?
Yeah, who's this guy?
And then the second show that came out was, of course, Maddie's show, Voluntary Vixens, which
That was number
thank
2.
you. Wait, or was it Techno Agorist?
Techno Agorist was this. I mean, I think it was the second show that came out, but
Yeah, it may have been Techno Agorist, then Voluntary Vixens.
well,
Yeah,
check
that's
and
the
see.
order. I think that's the order. So I know that I had podcasted with Kim for the first time in my life was it 2016 as Make Liberty Great Again, which, by the way, I'm so happy to have you back on a microphone with me, Kim.
That's so good.
I'm glad to be back. It took a while.
My life is complete. But yeah, so I mean, I had a little experience. I'm pretty sure Techno Agorist was your first experience, like podcasting yourself, right, Ryan?
No. I mean, I've recorded like church preaching, and I've released that as a podcast in the past. But I was, the only person who listened. So.
And then we dragged Maddie in and Jesse and said, hey, talk on. We're not going to give you any direction, just
Just
talk,
talk.
and I'll edit it. And then after Voluntary Vixens, we brought in Thank You for Your Servers with Thaddeus alone, because before that it was a brainchild of Ryan's, and Kim was actually going to be on that one. And so it was going to be Ryan, Kim, and Thaddeus, and
Just didn't work.
That version just crashed and burned.
Yeah, it
did
just
not
didn't work.
Did you guys record it all, or just? Nah.
We recorded
episode.
one episode, and it just seemed clear that wasn't.
No.
Yeah.
And then, so of course, Thaddeus did some episodes by himself, and then we finally got Grandpa voiced Gary on, who we love.
Love Gary. Oh my goodness.
Who was after Thank You for Your Servers?
Well, we went through a number
When
of
did,
shows that we tried.
Was there one between Thank You
but
for Your
then-
Servers and...
Wasn't when did David appear on the network? Or Dave? David, sorry.
Well, he's been there since the beginning. Though we've not actually
Gotcha.
produced any of his material so
Technically,
far.
that doesn't count.
And he was doing his own thing really beforehand, right? Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he'd been doing it far longer than any of us. But no, that's it. I mean, Make Liberty Great Again, followed by Techno Agrist, followed by Voluntary Vixens, Thank You for Your Service, and Lesbertarian.
Lesbertarian. And what I love about Lesbertarian, though, was that Kim put up on Facebook, I need to finally create a podcast called Lesbertarian. And I was like,
bingo.
all right. And what was it within a day that
There
we
we
decided
go.
to do it together?
Yeah, and I made that post in a bar. Not even kidding. I was probably really
That's funny.
tipsy.
I think like 2 or 3 weeks ago, you were like, I was kind of joking when I made that post.
I didn't mean it. Here you are now.
And honestly, like, it was one of those things that I was like, I wonder how this will go. This may be because I'm not an alphabet person.
Not a lesbian.
So
Clearly.
yeah, I'm not a lesbian.
Not this year.
But
You're an MALE?
I would say I have too much body hair, but I don't think that's apropos to lesbians. I think they can have as much body hair as they want.
They can choose it.
But-
Pro-choice hair.
But no, I was like, I wonder how this is going to be. Kim's awesome. But I listen to gay news every week now, and I don't think I've ever paid attention to gay news before in my life.
Me neither. That's the sad part. Because, I mean, if you pay attention to it, it's always the same. It's always, hey, the LGBT community has 8 million more letters, and they want to take over everything Christians have, and then vice versa, and blah, blah, blah. And it's just, that's what the news is. So I decided might be a good idea to get in there and break it up, the monotony, maybe some humor, and kind of just, help some LGBT people figure out liberty.
Yeah.
Be nice.
Yeah.
It works well. I look forward to the show every week, which once again, it's like the alphabet people show, like the particularly gay-focused show.
Give me the gay show.
I've never found myself like, ooh, can't wait to hear the new.
I need to hear that gayness.
Give me the
That
gay
show
stuff.
every week.
So Kim, since you do a gay news show, what was your favorite gay news of
You're like
this
a
year?
gay anchor.
Gay.
Ganker.
Ganker.
Ganker. I'd have to say, I mean, there were a few good ones, but still, to me, the amalgamation of the ridiculousness that we had to endure in the alphabet community was the All Together cereal that was put out, because we need to be able to fight bullying by making people buy cereal. Like, why is that? How's it going to help? Like, all these people who are bullying gay people are like, I want this super fruity cereal. I just ate it. Oh, I shouldn't beat up gay people. Like, what? It just seemed like the ultimate glorifying of the community.
But also, it was gross. The mixing of all those cereals together, it's like, that's not nice. That goes against your point. You just like made this, squished everybody together in this yucky thing.
For $20
rather than
too.
for you.
Heck no.
That sounds.
That actually makes me think of the ad. I saw an ad. I forget what it was, but it was for air travel, and it had 3 different sets of seat belts from a plane, and all of them had rainbow straps. And there was, a regular male and female next to each other, and then a female and a female, and then a male and a male. And the thing said, with insert airlines here, everything clicks. And I'm looking at it going, you realize only one of those clicks, and only one of those keeps you from dying. So what are we doing here?
Wow.
What point are you trying to make?
The stories write themselves.
So of all the content that we've produced over this last year, did you already go over the numbers yet, Ryan?
Over the course of, since the first, Make Liberty Great Again episode, over the course of this year, we have released 118 MLGA Network original podcast episodes. So 118 episodes, which came to 68.79 hours of original content produced. I am very happy with that, especially since none of us are paid for this.
Yeah.
This is all volunteer. We do it for the fame, for the recognition, for the Facebook groups and the 5 shares.
I did it just so I could get on Sounds Like Liberty.
Oh man. I love his wife though. She's great.
Which I'm on.
Hashtag 3 dicks.
That was actually a lot of fun to record that episode with them. So that'll be coming soon.
Which kind?
What kind of fun?
I don't know which kind of coming. It was a bad joke.
I picked it up now.
Yeah.
I understood it immediately because I'm sharp like that.
Past my bedtime.
So I know that this year we have how many shows do we have in the wings? Just 2 at the moment, right, Ryan? That we're working on producing for the next year?
That are being
tentatively planned.
Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, we have other ideas, but we'll see.
Yes.
We have 2 that are closest than anything else.
And so hopefully that comes through and we have... Well, I mean, one of them is for sure. Why don't we just tell them what we're going to do?
That sounds dangerous.
You want to tell them about the first one?
Is it definitely for sure going to happen?
Well, we're talking about the Mother's Show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Correct.
Which we have more or less come up with a title and such. It's going to be a Liberty kind of Mother's thing. Sorry, I'm sick and I'm tired and I'm doing my best here. But
well, I just figured you could say it since the plan at this point is to bring on your wife, Hannah Joy, and Nicole Parks to do a mom show.
Liberty Mom.
It sounds so silly calling it a mom's show, but like it's going to be really good.
It'll be cooler.
The mom show.
I'm especially curious
I
to
think
hear
so.
Hannah and Nicole interacting together, hear how that works, because I think there's a whole lot of material just inside that. We'll see.
I also want to hear their takes on homeschooling. That's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's so many things that they're very well suited to talk about, specifically involving families and mothers and children and school and vaccines and all the different things that we parents have to deal with on a daily basis. In general, it's more of a parents' show, but it's done by 2 mothers.
Well, that's something I'll never experience because I just got that surgically removed. Amen.
Glory.
Yeah, bye-bye.
But you got more cred for your podcast, So
That is true.
Yeah.
When I become Cam. Cam Shang.
So, Kim, if there was a type of show that you think should be added to our network to more round us out, what kind of show, off the top of your head, if you don't have anything, you can say, oh, I have no idea. But what kind of show would you think would be great to add?
I think you know where I'm going to go.
Are you going to say true
of
crime?
course she's going to
Yes, I
say
am.
true crime.
Yep.
We do need to talk about that because there's an interesting angle that I'd like to explore.
All right, we're gonna have to talk about that offline because that'd be bomb. I think that'd be good, especially if we have. I think we've talked about it before. I won't spoil it now if it possibly happens. So I think it'd be a great thing for the network.
When are we going to release the Liberty Manga podcast, where we talk about manga from a Liberty perspective?
Is that how you say it? I always thought it was manga.
I've been enjoying Wolf Children. That's a really good book about this woman who, had sex with a werewolf, and then she gave birth to these little puppy children, and they're really cute. And then he disappears because he's a werewolf and he can't be held back, so she's left to raise these half-human, half-puppy people, and it chronicles it over the course of their life. And, I think we should have a show about things like that.
That'd be cool.
Ryan explained this manga to me in the office, and I was just dumbfounded by I'm like, wait, are you telling me that there's a bestiality book out there that I'm not reading?
By the way, we ended up not giving that to our daughter. It just seemed a little
Creepy?
too much.
Yeah, maybe not yet. She could find it
Mainly
later.
it's just a matter of here's the college student. Oh, he's hot. Hey, let's go to the bedroom and do our thing. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't just and then after you have sex with him, you get pregnant, find out he's a werewolf. It's just like she had no idea what she was getting into.
Yeah.
It's like that's what you don't do. It's not a sweet, cute, romantic thing. Golly.
This is a morality tale so that you will not bang a werewolf daughter. I hope you understand that reading.
Or just be careful who you bang because you don't know who's going to be the werewolf, right? I mean, it's like a version of in Mean Girls when they're in the health class and it's like, don't have sex, you will get syphilis and die. So this is like, don't have sex. It'll be a werewolf, and you'll have werewolf pups. Can't have that.
Now here's some condoms. I'm sorry.
So maybe we should give it to her. There we go.
No one wants that.
Yeah.
Let's make some werewolf babies.
Maddie, if we were to add a podcast besides something about werewolf babies, what do you think we should add?
I don't know.
What are we missing?
I don't know.
One of the things that I think we need to add on is a foreign policy show, because me doing one vague foreign policy conversation, or not even vague, I'm not vague about it, but just having one that's not deep information once every 3 weeks is
true.
just not going to cut it. We need to know what's going on around the world. So that's something that hopefully we can work out. We need to get back on it. We've been so busy.
I mean, this is the busiest time of year, so...
That's going to be hard to find.
But hopefully that's something we can add.
And we're going to keep being very busy for the next couple weeks, next couple months.
Yeah.
No rest for the weary.
It's going to be really hard finding a host for that because there are a lot of good people that are knowledgeable, but there's not a lot of people that are super in-depth knowledgeable. I mean...
Who
we're
aren't
talking
already doing something of their own.
like Scott Horton level.
Well, we have a possibility out there that's one of the more knowledgeable people
Intrigued.
that's out there. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not going to tell you anything more, but we'll see if that works out. I would say that we're getting close to the end, unless I've missed something. Oh, there was one thing that I was like, I want to ask Ryan about this because he's in a unique position to talk about it. Did y'all see the video of the shooting in Texas from this morning?
I just saw the video that you guys shared right before we got on together.
Yeah, it's horrifying. But the reason why I wanted to ask Ryan about it is because Ryan is a Mennonite and a pacifist, whereas the rest of us probably lean more towards... I know Kim is like, shoot the bastard.
I'll punch a baby. I'm just telling you.
But Ryan's a pacifist, so I'm curious, as briefly as you want to talk about it, but like, what did you think, feel, etc. when you saw, one, a guy shoot up a church, and two, a church member shoot a guy?
Nice softball.
You're welcome.
Well, thanks for this easy question.
Let's end on a light note.
You are welcome.
My first thought, and what continues to be my top thought when I saw that video, was the fact that, I was so thankful that only those two people got hurt, or inside the congregation, that he was only had the opportunity to shoot two people. I would have loved for nobody to have gotten shot, including the shooter. That would have been the ideal. But given the fact that he could have shot up the whole church and who knows, done how much damage, the fact that he did only get two people makes me happy. So I'm thankful and I'm praising God for that. So then the next question is, so does that mean that, it's good that a Christian carried his gun into church and shot that person? That's where I go, the way I read the New Testament, I don't see that as a Christian's responsibility. So I don't see that as what God wants for me. He asks me to be like him, and Jesus said, put away your sword. So guess what? That's what I sold my guns. And, if someone walked into my church, none of us are armed. And what happens, happens. But the reality is, to a large extent, I'm okay with that. I'm willing to trust Holy Spirit in that moment to guide and direct and show me what he wants from me. But I'm not going to be the person pulling out a gun. At the same time, if I see that a shooting happened and less people got hurt than otherwise would have gotten hurt, I'll praise Jesus for that it wasn't as bad as it could have been. But I don't think that changes God's ideal for a Christian, and I don't think it changes it doesn't in any way change my understanding of the words of Jesus.
Cool. Yeah, I was just curious because you have a different outlook on that than most people. Because, I've seen a couple of videos since I watched that video, and they're like, thank God someone had an avenging angel in the church to... And I'm like, I'm sure Ryan would be like, what?
Well, I get called a hypocrite more than anything for my views. And, that isn't totally unfair. Because I struggle with this all the time, every day. Like, what does the ideal look like? Like, what is God calling me to? How can I live up to that ideal best? So it's always a matter of questioning how I'm living, what I'm doing, especially when it comes to violence, given some situations. Even just a matter of, if someone came inside the door with a gun and I'm there, the closest one to them, what do? There's a big part of me that wouldn't have a problem at all jumping on the guy and just knocking him over. Truth is, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm not armed, or maybe it's just me, but I'm the guy who steps into any room anywhere. In general, I don't like going places, but when I step into a room, I'm the guy who's always finding every exit, finding every hiding place. Like when I'm in Best Buy and I'm working my way toward the back corner, and I'm like, all right, there's one exit over here, way over there, and I'm here. If something horrible was going to happen right now, where do I go? What do I do? And I am always asking those questions. And same with church, as in, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, all right, here's the exits. Okay, where could somebody enter if they were going to start causing trouble? And then where would I be in relation to them? We're very vigilant watching who comes in the building and who does things, but it doesn't mean that we'd necessarily be able to stop somebody just by being vigilant. But I'm willing to do what I feel is right according to the Bible, and based on reading and prayer, and regardless of what happens.
Understandable. Yeah, I was just curious because, like I said, you have a different viewpoint, and I'm like, how does the pacifist view a gun in two guns, three guns? Probably, like, let's be honest, it was Texas, probably 94 guns.
Yeah, it was all about, it was like everybody just had a gun.
Who acted first?
Well, it would be easier to be a pacifist if everything was just super simple and super clear. But there's so much gray area when it comes to that, that you have to, I don't know, it's always on the mind. I listened to a great book by Shane Claiborne and Tony Campolo where they were talking about that. And they were both talking about how they were pacifists. And then Tony Campolo stopped and said, but, given that extreme circumstance, because everyone always gives the extreme circumstance that isn't going to happen. As in, oh, you're a pacifist, okay. So what if crazed murderer person comes into your house, ties up everyone in your family, and starts raping them and murdering them one at a time before your eyes, and you have the opportunity to kill them? And are you going to take that opportunity, or are you going to watch them one by one be raped and murdered? To which you go, okay, that's not going to happen, first of all. But in this book, Tony Campolo basically addressed that. He's like, in that situation, he's like, that doesn't change what I understand to be God's ideal, but I can't definitively say how I would respond in that situation. He's like, I just have to trust God and do what I feel is right in the moment based on how Holy Spirit leads. That's pretty much where I come down.
Speaking of Tony Campolo, he's actually going to be debating Bob Murphy at the Soho Forum in April. So that should be interesting.
Why would Tony Campolo talk with Bob Murphy?
Because he's a dang socialist.
He is. Well, yeah, he's super progressive dude.
Well, Bob Murphy's
but
a
Christian guy. There's nothing economic about him.
Yeah, so the resolution is actually to promote a Christian vision of human flourishing. Christians should support free market capitalism.
Got it.
Bob's obviously taking the affirmative, and Tony Campolo's taking the
there we go. Okay.
The negative.
Okay.
So it's not a technical capitalism or a technical economics, thing.
Yeah.
When I think Bob Murphy, I think economics, not
That sounds really interesting.
Christian perspective on
Kim and I
capitalism.
actually had a conversation with him back in the day.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. So I actually think of him as Christian
Classic.
first because we talked about that in the show. I think, oh yeah, the Christian economist. Bob Murphy.
Well, both Tony Campolo and Shane Claiborne have gone so nutty since I listened to that book. Both of them, it's been so sad watching the weird decline, like especially with the kids in Washington D.C. Remember who were being harassed by that Native American guy and those black Jew people and all that stuff, and they're just standing there basically, and then the media came after them. Well, Shane Claiborne came out and he was like, "This is an example of everything that's wrong with people," and just saying all this stuff about these kids. And then after it was over, when it was turned out to be complete hogwash, everything was wrong from the beginning. Lots of people pushed him, like, "Are you gonna apologize?" And he never really did. He just Which you're the peace guy, the peace and love guy, and you're just gonna jump on that thing and trash these kids, and then you won't even apologize when it comes out that it was the opposite.
I've never heard
what
of
you
these
said,
people, but it's really reminding me of Obama being the hope and peace guy and him getting the Nobel Peace Prize, and then bombing the bejesus out of the Middle East.
Yeah.
Well, bombing the bejesus out of another Nobel Peace Prize winner. The first Nobel Peace Prize winner to ever bomb another Nobel Peace Prize winner, Doctors Without Borders.
Wow.
No.
I mean, Can you get any? I mean, can you get any
Yeah.
more ironic than that?
That's the world we live in.
Clown world.
Yep.
Honk honk.
All right. So to finish this off, because I think Maddie needs to go to sleep. I'm seeing the weight of the day weighing on her.
Like, I'm already tired from tomorrow.
I gotcha. And Kim needs to rest up because of her tum tum, as I've said every time. Because for some reason I think it's funny to say tum tum when referring to a grown ass woman.
Knock it off.
Yeah, he said it in text and everything.
Knock off the tum-tum shit.
It's kind of like that.
It's weird.
It's like when my wife was giving birth to a couple of our children, there was that nurse in the hospital that was like, okay, baby, if you could just TT in this for me. And I'm like, I need you to die.
Why are you talking like that?
Immediately, if not sooner. But like I said, we need to finish up. So what do you hope for in the coming year, Kim? What kind of good things in your life? What kind of ridiculous things in the political sphere? What kind of gay news? Whatever. What are you looking forward to this year?
Honestly, well, it's twofold. Number one, maybe, and I already see it coming, Trump to be reelected so I can have 4 more years of laughing on Twitter. And second would be just for Lesbertarian to, I don't know, I'm still kind of finding my way with that, so hopefully by this time next year it'll have found its way and maybe, I'll have affected some people in the alphabet community that weren't libertarians. I really want to reach them and bring them over to liberty because I'm getting real tired of what's going on right now on the left trying to take over the world the way it is.
I would say I can feel that, but I'm a straight man, so I have no idea.
The cisgendered male.
Well, just think of all the content if Mayor Pete gets the nomination.
Yep.
Be a lot to talk about then.
Oh, that'd be good for the show.
Let me ask, I have called him Mayor Buttplug in the past. Is that homophobic?
I would say to people that are really sensitive, I just find that really funny.
Okay. Good, because you're the only person I care about when it comes to that.
Well, I mean, his name has butt in it.
It
It's
does.
just almost inviting you to say it.
Yeah, really. I would have fixed that a long time ago. Like, there are ways, man.
My name is Jones. Peter Jones.
Options. Yeah. What's his middle name? Like, go with that,
Mayor Pete Jones.
Anything. He asked for it.
It's probably like Richard.
Now I'm curious what his middle name is.
That should be the title of this episode. What's Pete Buttstuff's middle name?
I don't even know how to spell his name. All I know is
Pete
butt.
butt stuff?
That's what Dave Smith calls him. Pete Buttstuff.
Aw, dude has 4 names.
Oh, well, of course he's gay.
Peter Paul Montgomery Buttigieg.
So he could have gone with Montgomery and been fine.
Peter Paul Montgomery Buttigieg.
I think he's a psyop. Now that we've gotten this far, he's definitely
I've never said the dude's name before. I just
He's
realized
a robot. He's an alien. He's a created, manufactured human. I mean,
He's the Marco Rubio of the Democratic side, though.
He would be the first president with butt in his name.
there's something.
President Booty Gig.
I was gonna say he'd be the gay Marco Rubio, but then I remembered, it's Marco Rubio.
That dude is so gay.
Little Marco.
You guys remember that stuff that came out? Yeah, with his foam parties and yeah.
Yeah, wait, I didn't
not
hear
know
about
that
that.
came out, and now I am very happy.
You haven't heard about that stuff?
I did not hear about his foam parties.
The pictures of him with other men in foam in these gay type clubs, and oh yeah.
No wonder he had to run again.
Wearing chaps and stuff.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah. When did they talk about that? Well, that was yeah.
Oh boy.
Was that in the emails?
Pizzagate and foam parties.
Oops.
So, Maddie,
Yes.
same question to you. This next year, hopes, dreams, presidential shenanigans. What do you hope for?
I mean, I'm waiting to see who the hell ends up being the front runner. I'm imagining whoever it's going to be, unless like shit collapses, it's going to be Trump. I don't think they cheated quite hard enough for him to not win the first time. So who knows what's going to happen this time? I don't know. I've got to, trust that whatever's supposed to happen is going to happen, and we'll maybe just see more awakenings also with the results, however the chips fall, right? I'm going to continue to work on myself because that's a never-ending project. And work-wise, hope I can delegate some more and more so that I'm a little bit more sane and in control of my schedule. And both companies flourish and thrive. And then with Voluntary Vixens, yeah, I think Jesse and I finally found kind of our swing of things, and we get incredible feedback from our listeners, and I feel like a crazy person talking all the time. Like, I'm an idiot. I always ask Cam, like, did I sound stupid? And so, sure, I need Cam's reassurance all the time, but then I hear these other people that I've never met before in my life, like, contacting us on Instagram, telling us how much the show means to them and how much they love listening to us and how, like, I don't know, like, we get crazy outpouring of love and support, and that is pretty damn cool. I just want to continue doing what we're doing. We'll probably hopefully go on other people's shows some more, because that's been fun, having other people back on ours, some more internetwork fun stuff, I don't know, just making sure I have time for things that I want to do.
And Ryan, besides seeing more pictures of Marco Rubio at a gay foam party, what do you hope for this year?
Well, I would love to see Trump actually end some wars.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. That would be wonderful going into the election. I mean, wonderful for him, obviously. People, even his supporters, they want these stupid wars to end. So, yeah, love to see an end to war. Love to see world peace. That'd be cool, too. Just in general.
I'm in.
Yeah.
There's a lot that I would like to see this year. Maybe making some money from the network would be cool. Maybe being financially secure would be cool. Things like that.
Yeah.
Maybe moving someplace other than Pennsylvania would be cool.
Don't do Maryland.
Yeah, no, not Maryland. Are you crazy?
Vegas wouldn't work for you either.
But on the more realistic side of things, I'm looking forward to a very entertaining presidential election, because whoever ends up getting chosen, it's just going to be a hoot watching the weirdo back and forth. And then this whole the continuing impeachment thing. I can't wait for someone to try and bring that up in some debates with Trump. Like, that's going to be, not a Trump fan, but golly goodness, that'll be fun to watch.
I'm not a Trump fan insofar as he is a president. I am a Trump fan insofar as he is
an entertainer,
a fantastic troll and entertainer.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I can honestly say that. I didn't used to be able to say that because, like, when he was coming into the scene as a presidential candidate, I was just as TDS'd as most other people. I didn't see the humor. It took me a minute. Then I was like, okay, there it is.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, I love the idea of making the presidency a true circus.
Thank you.
It's
please
wonderful.
And thank you.
All right. Well, what do I want this year?
We don't care.
That's a good question, Maddie. Thank you for asking.
I'm so thoughtful.
I think I want more sleep.
Amen.
That's about it. y'all have said a lot of good things, and I was telling my brother the other day when he was like, for some reason he had this idea. I don't know how, but he had this idea that because we both grew up in Alabama with conservative parents that I was going to be pro-war. And I was like, have you not listened to me for the past, decade, 10 or 11 years? Have you not listened to me at all? Because wrong. So, I mean, like, that's what I was telling him. I was saying, I enjoy President Trump as a troll, but I would enjoy him and say he was a legitimately good president if, 1, he pulled us out of Afghanistan, 2, pardoned
Edward Snowden.
Julian Assange, Edward Snowden, and Ross Ulbricht. Mm-hmm. If they did that, I'd be like, you are the best president of the 21st century.
And it's a really short list if you think about it.
But seriously, nothing can undo the damage caused by the U.S. support in Yemen. Like, I'll never be able to drop that one. Even if he today would say, hey, guess what? For real now, like, we're not going to support Saudi. Because, they've had a few little things like, oh, well, we're scaling back or something.
Yeah.
Like, if they today said, for real, we're not going to help Saudi Arabia anymore, it's like, you're still an awful murderer. Like, and that won't be made better if you stop doing it now. So, Who knows? Maybe he will end up being the best president of the 21st century. But unfortunately, nothing will undo all the damage he's already done in these years that he could have done things that he didn't do.
Yep.
You know? He's done a number of things, but why are we still in Afghanistan? Why are we still causing people to die, helping murder and destroy people en masse in Yemen? Like, this whole deal just makes no sense. He could have, but he's not. So we need to judge him for that.
Yes.
Yeah, I will judge him for that, but if he stopped it all tomorrow, that's a huge plus.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I'll definitely.
That's if he was able to turn the tide and stop a lot of it, I'm going to give that dude a pat on the back. I'll say, you're a son of a bitch for what you did earlier.
Yeah, more of
But
that.
great job for this part.
Yeah. Well,
more, please.
like with the shooting, I'll praise Jesus that more lives are saved if he does that tomorrow. But yeah, I still wouldn't vote for him.
So I think that's our show. Did you guys enjoy it as much as I did?
Yep.
Good. All right, time to rattle off where you can find all of us, because that won't be annoying at all. Okay. As always, thank you for listening to Make Liberty Great Again. If you want to find me, you can find me on everything if you just type in This Is MLGA. ThisIsMLGA.com, Facebook.com/ThisIsMLGA, Instagram, Twitter. It's easy. It's all the same. Go there. Same is true for Lesbertarian, luckily.
Yep.
Lesbertarian. Maddie gets a little interesting with voluntary
It's
vixens.
like we're schizophrenic or something.
Because I think on Twitter it's Vixens Voluntary.
Yep.
On Instagram it's Voluntary Vixens.
Yep.
We'll put the links in. And Technoagrist is easy as well, because it's just Technoagrist.
Technoagrist.com. Yep.
And you can find us all on MLGAnetwork.com. So please listen some more. Give us some ideas for new shows. What is the Liberty world of podcasting missing that you want to hear? Because we want to provide that if we can. As always, I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy you're with us. Stay sane.